name is Colby Collins, and I'm here to give you a persuasive essay about PC, personal computers, versus consoles, which is a large consumer war that's been going on for years between, you hear, Sony, the PlayStation series, and Xbox, and Microsoft, the Xbox series. When a child gets a PC instead of a console, generally they'll have some kind of list where they build it and they sell it to their parents or vice versa, but they have to do research. They have to look at parts. Now, this is some real world application, and in the future they can use this to help them find jobs and so on and so forth. It goes on for days. And whenever they get a PC, unlike the console where they have to upgrade it every 2 or 3 years, they can upgrade it piece by piece. It's a one big investment, or by some kids, they get it one piece at a time. But it's really up to you, and that's the great thing about PC. It's completely unique to the user. It's customizable. It's personable, whereas the console, you get it out of the box and you put it down and that's what it is. A PC, they show it off to each other. There's communities based on the looks and the decals and the lights. People go all out. So just a couple small notions about what I personally think is better about PC than console is the upgradability, as I said before. The upgradability from getting the next new graphics card every couple years rather than getting the new console every couple years. And it's also something that people like to do for hobby with the upgradability. Some people take pride, and it always makes you feel good. And it's kind of like when a guy has a car that they like working on. They like having their hands in there, getting greasy. But it's the same thing for a techie. And once they get the bite, they get the addiction. And a lot of people would understand. With the graphics, generally the looks of the game are typically better on a PC, and that's due to the parts, whereas the consoles are trying to sell at a defined price, trying to run the same thing, where as a PC, if you're doing it for a hobby, you usually have a better system. And just in general, consoles usually cap around 30 frames per second that you can see with your eye, and 60 frames per second is generally what most PCs start at to begin with. So just the smoothness of the game is pretty much 100% upgrade just there. And many games come with the option to play keyboard or controller, so if someone's more comfortable with a controller, they fully have the option to do so. And a lot of games like Grand Theft Auto, for example, some people might like to use a controller for their driving because it's more smooth, but then when it comes to rocking around, they like using the keyboard more. It's just user preference, and that's the great thing about it. Another great thing I'd like to touch on is with PCs, there's the option of community mods, which allow you to make customized maps for the community that people play on, and customized game modes, which can completely change a game mode from what it originally was intended for. A great example would be Half-Life 2, which was quite successful in its day, and then Gary's Mod, which was a modification to the game that for many, many years almost passed its original game success with the community mods that were made, and they're completely different than the original game, where the original game is you're going through, it's very linear hallways, it's guided. On the community games, there can be things such as hide and seek, people turning into random objects and hiding like things. It's crazy what people can think to do, and that kind of creativity really shines. So that's the kind of stuff, that kind of creativity and the hobbyist stuff. As people do that, they get better and better, and they can find jobs in IT, which are growing every single year. And to close, I'd like to say that PCs are a great option for your child, and it's surprising how much you'll actually learn over time. I remember I got mine just a couple years ago, and compared to your average Joe, I feel like a wizard sometimes. So, that being said, I'm Colby Collins, and I thank you for your time.